David Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, that member couldn't even use 5 minutes. The best person the Labor Party couldn't even use 5 minutes in the general debate. That is a party from the past. As Bill English said, a party from the past, a party from the 1970s. Well, it's better than their coalition partners. Winston Peters was in his prime in the 1970s. He's actually out of it now, but in the 1970s, those were his best years. And the Green Party, well, the Green Party's actually from the 1930s, because if you look at them, they want to go back to Stalinism and communism and 5-year plans. They want the central planning of the world. The Green Party, the New Zealand First Party and the Labor Party represent a vision that is gone. They represent the past. New Zealand wants a future. New Zealand wants leadership. They want a young, inspired country that looks forward and takes its place in the world. And that's what the National Party offers. That's why the Labor Party, the New Zealand First Party and the Green Party are struggling where they are, because they do not represent New Zealanders' desire to look forward and have a strong and developed and wonderful country. And look at Hamilton. Hamilton is the future of New Zealand, the city of the future. Remember those words. And Hamilton represents that dynamic, forward-thinking, progressive country that we will represent. And the National Party is giving Hamilton the ability to be that forward-thinking place. We are building the Waikato Expressway, and everybody from Hamilton and the Waikato, listen to this. I will say this again and again for the next 5 months, but the Labor Party will not build the Waikato Expressway. The Hamilton bypass and the Huntly bypass are due for contract in 2015. And if you're a Labor Party looking for $1.3 billion, where do you get it from? You tell the people of the Waikato, no expressway. And that's what the Labor Party's thinking. I bet you that's what they're thinking. And I challenge the Labor Party to stand in this House before the end of this parliamentary session and say that they will fund the Waikato Expressway next year. Will you do that? No way. There is no way they can do that. The Waikato and Hamilton has the most to lose in this election. If we do not get a national government re-elected, that road goes back 30 years to the 1970s, where it's on the plans. It hasn't actually happened. That's what the Labor Party wants. They want us to dream of a road, as they did in the 1970s. Well, we make it a reality, Sue Moroney, and I want to see somebody in the Labor Party come out and say that before the next election. The other thing we have schools. We're building new schools in Hamilton North for the growing population of that city. And I said, very rich for the Labor Party to come in here today and go in about those Christchurch schools and talk about the community's wishes. I know when the Labor Party was in government, Sue Moroney stood on a bit of land and had this article in the paper saying this would be a lovely place for a school. But did she do anything about it? No. It was only when we came in that we bought the land, that we have built the school, and we're going to give the people what they deserve and what they need. The New Zealand National Party delivers the future for cities like Hamilton, which are the future of New Zealand.
Order.
No, you didn't buy the land. You didn't buy the land. And we've got Annette King here. I want to see Annette King stand up and put in front of this House the piece of paper saying the Labor Party bought the land for the secondary school, because they didn't. That minister bought it, and I can tell you that. Yes, no, you can't do that, Annette. None of that rubbish in this House. We are looking at a diverse, open, successful, modern country going forward. Hamilton is an example of that. We don't want the 1970s approach that doesn't build the Waikato Expressway. We don't want the 1970s approach of politics, which is all about personal attacks. And we don't want the 1930s approach of politics, which is Stalinism. We want a modern, free, open world and country, and that's what you're going to get under a John Key government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Richard Prosser.